also on the further management.
Good, thank you, Reverend Caro. As Joro comes, please proceed. Who goes first? Titus.
Okay.
Good, Titus goes first. As he does that, there are 3 vehicles here: KDL 105P, KCL 972Y, and KBV 311C. They are blocking another reverend who wants to rush somewhere. So kindly attend to your vehicle: KDL 105P, KCL 972Y, and KBV 311C. Kindly. Then as Titus, before Titus proceeds, we got one proposer and a seconder for the accounts. Then we need a proposer and a seconder for budget, then we proceed. Kindly. We need a proposer and a seconder for the budget that Reverend Elder Babu has taken us through. Proposer and a seconder, Reverend Changari and Evangelist Milton proposed and seconded the accounts. Now we need a proposer and a seconder for budget.
I propose the budget, Winnie Ndungu.
Thank you, Mchungaji. Reverend Winnie has proposed.
I second Evangelist Stephen Joroge.
Thank you so much, Bwana Joroge, Evangelist. God bless. So let's proceed, Titus.
Thank you, Chair. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. My name is Titus Mavindu, representing GA Life. We've heard through the previous presenters that you have a new fund manager or new fund managers. So GA Life is one of your fund managers. Today, I am happy to say I am a member of PCA. I've just seen my current Reverend, Dr. Gisheru, made the comment on the 6 days. I've also seen my former Reverend, Peter Gitau. I'm happy to see familiar faces. And I'm happy to be taking care of your retirement needs while you guys are taking care of our spiritual needs. So thank you. GA Life is part of a group called I&M Holdings Group. Mostly it's a financial services group. We have the banking side of the group, then we have the insurance side of the group. So GA Insurance is the group side. Under GA Insurance, we have GA Life. So today, I'm representing GA Life, a life insurance company offering retirement benefits and what we are doing for you as members of the scheme. We are regulated by IRA. At the same time, for retirement benefits, we are regulated by RBA. In terms of our size or presence, we are in several countries. We are in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. The banking side is in 6 countries. So that is just a brief of ourselves. We'll be interacting more. Today is our first day to present to you as members. The auditor talked about our performance for last year. We gave you members 13.25, having joined in August. So we were appointed as a fund manager for your scheme from 1st of August 2024. We received your contributions all the way to December. That's why you saw a part of us, part of the fund was at GA. This year, we've continued to receive more funds, and we will keep and we will take this duty carefully to ensure that we make money for you while you do the rest for us. So that was our performance for last year, 13.25. Markets were good. I think it's all I can tell you. We are coming from the era of COVID when things were tough. I know you went through a tough moment as well. We've gone past that. Government's changed. We've also gone past that. We experienced some unrest last year, the Gen Z's maandamanos. We are past that, and we only keep hoping that things will be better. So currently, we are looking at better 2025 so far. We've not seen so much negative happenings in our economy, and we hope that when we come back next year for the AGM, we'll bring you good news. So thank you. We are humbled to have been appointed, and we hope and we pray that we will work together for the benefits of the scheme and for the benefits of you as the members of the scheme. Thank you.
Thank you, Titus, Njoro, Octagon. That was GA. Let's put our hands together again. I appreciate Titus. They're doing a very good job. We appreciate you, Titus.
The leadership of our church, PCA, that is our moderator, our SG president, our chair of the board, my fellow service providers, and our team members. Bwana asifiwe. God is good, and all the time. Yes, my name is Dixon Njoro, representing the new service provider, that is Octagon Africa. And I want to say thank you to the sponsor and also to the board, giving us an opportunity to be able to serve you as members. I know what is in my laptop, so I will not be carried here, but I want to just reiterate what our chair has said. I was going through the minutes for the financial year 2023, and the chair and the board, I just want to appreciate you and the team, because most of the things that actually had been stated in the matters arising during those particular minutes, the board has actually taken the initiative to ensure that those particular items have been executed. And looking at the issue of digitization, remember we are in a digital era, and everything we are doing, it is based on ICT. So the board took the initiative to actually bring in Octagon Africa, we being your scheme administrator now, to just make sure that whatever information you need with regarding to your benefits, you don't have to come here. You can always access it via your laptop, or you can access it via your phone. So member statements, for those of us who have been able to log into the member portal, you are able to see your statement as per current. I know the board also gave us mandate to ensure that every contributions that are remitted to your account every month, then you get us a message via your phone on those particular contributions. And I think that's something we have done for the month of May. We have done it for the month of June. And we will continue doing so with the guidance of the trustees. My colleagues are at a tent there for you to visit them on any questions that you have on how to access your statement. We are here until the day ends to support those of us maybe who have not been able to log into the system. So we will be doing that as we proceed. Chair had mentioned the element to do with the policies. Remember, when you look at any board, decisions are based on governance tools. And the good governance guidance practices regulations for RBA 2018 have given trustees the mandate to document decisions they make. And the trustees, through the chair, as he said, they're in the process of reviewing the policies that the scheme has been using. Those particular policies are normally reviewed after 3 years. So the chair and his board have been reviewing those policies. Remember, there were 12. We added 2 additional. That is the policy on death benefits, policy on data protection. So we currently have 14 policies. We have policies on income allocation, a policy on election, a policy on member communication. We have a policy on audit and risk. We have a policy on risk management. We have policies on data protection. So all those policies are 14 in total. And once they have been reviewed and they have been approved by the trustees, because we are doing it together with them, then you will get all the information about those particular policies through the office of the SG. So we welcome you to continue supporting trustees on delivering mandate. I also wanted to mention something concerning nomination of beneficiaries. Remember, your benefits do not form part of your estate. You cannot transfer your benefits through a will. Assuming I go to the Lord now, I cannot write a will and say that if I pass on, then in this particular will I've said my benefits will go to so and so. No. The only way you can distribute your benefits, it is through nomination of beneficiaries. Remember, we came in last year. The trustees gave us the mandate last year. So we have been able to process some of your benefits. Now, the nomination of beneficiaries form is a document that you are aware of. And that document, by law, when you look at the retirement benefit schemes regulations for occupational schemes, they give you the mandate as a member to be continuously updating your nomination of beneficiaries whenever a major event happens in your life. So what are major events in our lives? I get married, I get a child. I don't want to say the other one. You see? But whenever a major event happens, please let's nominate. Someone has said you divorce. We don't allow that in our church. Just make sure when you add any other person in your family, put it on the nomination of beneficiaries form. The reason being is it is not only a requirement of the law. Of mind. Number two, you are making decisions concerning your benefits when you are not there. You see? So you are making those decisions through your nomination of beneficiaries form. Failure to do so, what happens? You are giving the chair and his board power to make decisions, which sometimes when you are dead and the chair makes a very good decision, according to you, when you are dead in the grave, you are like, you are not happy. So you begin complaining when you are there. The chair, why did the chair do that? You see? So we need to be able to help our board of trustees to make decisions for you when we are gone. You see? Yes. So make those decisions. You are making it safe. Because the trustees will just say, this is what Elder Mary has said concerning her nomination, beneficiaries. Now, Chair, allow me to make a distinction. People confuse a beneficiary and a personal representative. Those two are not the same. When I write a personal representative, it means if I'm not there, who will Elder Mary or the board conduct? That person has nothing to do with your benefits. Are you getting that? Beneficiaries ni wale ambao wako entitled. So you write their names there, you put there their date of birth, you put there the relationship you have with them, and then you put percentage. You see? Percentage that each person is getting. And down there, it should always be 100%. So you can say, Dixon, who is my eldest son, you get 10%. My children who are youngest, his siblings, they get 70%. But by the end of the day, you put there. I don't want to say, oh, my wife or my husband, you mean to change, you decide. You see? So nomination of beneficiaries form is something I'm requesting, Chair, that members update and ensure that we receive the updated nomination of beneficiaries form. Our chair is here and his team, you have given them mandate to manage your data. And that's why they brought in a new policy on data protection. You see, to protect your data under that particular policy. Lastly, Chair, RBA and the income tax amendment came with the changes. Let us know what those changes are, and you'll be able to share that particular information with the board so that you are able to do what? To work with it. So thank you so much and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dixon. Thank you, Titus. They are part of our fund managers, Dixon and Octagon, largely being our administrators, and GA, Live and Madison being our fund managers, people that are ensuring the money is being invested in places where it is giving a better return. At this point now, and as we proceed, just to emphasize, before we leave this place, there is a tent with a secretariat. They are here today, Octagon, and also from Elder Mary's office. Mary is the scheme accountant, to ensure that all of us today, as we go home, that we are aligned, that we are able to receive our statements online, so that we can be able to keep track on our benefits. At this point now, we want to hand over now the meeting back to our chair, because we are getting to the appointment of the auditors, and also time for questions and answer and any other business as we approach the end of the meeting. So we are getting to a very important section of this meeting, because it's going to be an interactive section, and we want to encourage all of us to feel free to participate. Our chairman.
Good. As we proceeded, since we started, as we near the end of the meeting, there's that item that you feel you need clarity on. Kuna jambo ambalo ungetaka lielezewe vyema, kuna kitu umeelewa lakini salia kidogo. So this is a moment where you feel free, make as many queries as possible. We do the best we can to not just answer, but to clarify. So tukitoka hapa, tumeelewana vizuri, tumejua pesa yangu ni ngapi, iko wapi, and like it has been clearly mentioned, kwamba kuna tents mbili ya Octagon Fund Administrator na yetu kama SRBS. So pass through that desk and you get your statement, get everything. But in the meantime, please feel free to ask a question on anything that we have presented today, from matters arising, accounting, budget, chairman's report, fund administrator's report, fund manager's report. Please feel free to ask a question. There's a hand behind there. Good, thank you, Reverend Degwa. Please put on the microphone for Reverend.
Chairman, thank you for this opportunity. I just have a few questions, not many. You have said to interact. I have only 3 questions. One is from the chairman's report on page 23, Roman 4. There's a nice, sweet story on administration costs. And Chairman, my question is, you have said that 1% from the GA and 2% that you will receive or you have received from Madison will be used as administrative costs. And the last almost paragraph says this amount amounted to 12 million, which the board has contributed to use, continued to use for administrative expenses. My question is, this figure looks so simple and direct. It's 12 million, zero. And Chairman, this money that we contribute here is not tithes and offering. This is our sweat and blood. Every sharing counts. And this is what will benefit us when nobody is looking for us. So 1,000 shillings will be good for a medical expense for everyone. So we need to save as much. So I'm asking, what was 2% of what? 1% of what? Because I don't think that figure is that flat. That is one. So you need to have the figures, know the amount you receive from these companies and from the insurance. Give us the specific figures. It may be 12,800,000 or whatever. But we need to get the figures before we agree with your chairman's report. On the budget, Mr. Chairman, it's unfortunate that we are running this board like any other PCA committee and meetings. And I think we need to separate ourselves from the tradition of the Presbyterian of meetings, trainings, and all those things. Because where we meet in the regions, we come from the money, we get the money from the presbytery and the parishes. It's unfortunate that we still continue to meet, to increase the administrative expense by 50%, when the world over, people are going to online meetings. They save more, they sit in the offices. People meet for serious matters, where you have to physically meet. So it should not increase. It should decrease by having more trustee online meetings, more meetings out there. So I don't think that 50% increment is worth increasing from that, because that's 100 shillings. Chairman, is what I'll eat in the next 10 years when I'm retiring. So I should not eat it now. 2, the last question is the regional meetings. Chairman, the PCA church, we meet at the region level, which is very expensive, inconveniencing, and sometimes waste of time and resources. Why would somebody leave Mombasa to come for a training for pension, travel away from Mombasa to come for a regional meeting in Nairobi or anywhere else? Chairman, this money is too much for training of members. Why should I leave Mogoga to go to Roiro, spend the whole day, waste the day, yet I could be in the comfort of my house taking coffee, have the seminar. And you said me, my 1,000, I buy some chips outside there. And I've enjoyed the training. I have something to go home with for my family. Why take me all the way to Roiro and you increase the money? Unfortunately, Chairman, I think this board is aware that in the next 10 years, almost 300 ministers will be retiring from this church. And you are doing training for the retirees, and it's going higher every day. So you want to tell me you spend over 20 million to come and tell us how to retire, instead of giving us that money so that we can go and retire and buy a goat or a cow? Chairman, that need to be brought down, that cost. If we are thinking about tomorrow, 3 million shillings you spent to train the retired ministers. I wish they were given each 30,000 to buy a cow for retirement. So, Chairman, those costs of training with the online system that is there, the world over, people need to meet online. And you send us Bado's money, it will be more cheaper for all of us and even for the board. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Reverend Degwa. Those are very, very good questions. And I know he was not asking for himself. He's asking for all of us. We really appreciate it. Those are very good questions. Let's speak a few other questions, and we can answer them together. Thank you so much. Very clear, very intelligent questions. We appreciate. There's a hand behind you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The auditor said that in his statement that in the assessment, the financial statements are free of material misstatements. And he quoted that they have noted the increase of membership with 182 as a figure. And I think it's a misstatement that in the chairman's report, he said that some people have died. There is no such figure. I expected to hear a figure of people who are contributing to the scheme, and now they have gone. 10, 20, 30, but not some. It must be specific, Mr. Chairman, if at all you are managing our resources properly. Thank you.
Very good question. Thank you so much, Reverend Jenga. We appreciate you answer that. And yes, please. There's another hand. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman, and the trustees. In page 24, This is in our chairman's report. In order to hit the range of 6 and above, can one earn this or a pension savings? And what is the pay bill or the account number? Then the fund managers or the wealthy fund, is it around for the scheme to trade in the treasury bonds for return on investment?
Good question. Thank you so much. This is another hand there. Yes, please give to Leverett.
Hira Mundia. My question goes to Octagon. Octagon. I've received a message from you prompting me to access my statement, and when I went there, I found 0. And when you are talking, you did not do a survey to find out how many people have been able to access the portal concerning the same. And we should have done the same so that you see whether you are corresponding online or not. The other thing is that you mentioned about some data information. I don't know whether you are still doing that, about some of the things that need to be updated. And if so, if you are the one who's doing all this and collecting all this data from members, why is it not, why should it not be done online? As you're sending me the issue about registration, if you find that some data are very critical, why don't you have an app whereby for me to open that up, I love to answer those critical, or I love to register those data instead of maybe talking there and again when I go to my record, maybe there will be those gaps. How are you addressing those gaps that you are talking about, and not physically but online? Because now I can access the photo through my phone. But unfortunately, when I went there, I'm only getting a 0. So please help me on that.
Thank you so much, Reverend Bondia and Reverend Nelly Frosty Kahora. Thank you so much. We have gotten your questions. Those are 4. Can we answer those ones first? Any other? Then we take another round of questions. Thank you so much. I'll start with the Reverend Dregwa. And he asked very good questions. I know our scheme accountant, Elder Mary, I'll give her a chance to give us the exact amounts. In the chairman's report, a chairman's report usually is generalized, as I said, is done by all of us, is usually generalized, but the specifics are given by audit committee, which is led by Elder Babu. So we have the exact coin that came from commission from Madison, the exact coin that came from the commission of 1% from GA. We have all that, and we are going to share that. Then the other one is on the regional meetings that we usually hold. Like you've seen, we are budgeted for 3 million shillings because there's the idea of online meetings is very good. Online trainings are very good, but for specific topics and when you have a specific objective. There are times we've held a training, and when you request someone to answer a question, you discover that he logged on, then disappeared as soon as he had joined in. And because we are talking about a very important matter, pension, which about the future, is about the future of our people. We say that to us, people are very important in my opening remarks. We feel that the weight required in a training would be a one-on-one more than a meeting where we can have people on. Even as we speak, even in this meeting, there are people that are following us online, but you would tell, because we have various channels of assessment, that their concentration is different from what we are doing here. So we keep on, like you had said, that you're going to invest, that you have invested in technology. We are going to apportion depending on the weight of and the objective for a certain topic. We go online, we go physical, depending on the weight of what we are handling. Then the third question, I want Reverend Kariuki to assist me to handle that. Then we proceed to the other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for the benefits of the issue to do with the commission. These are the figures that were received through a SWIFT transfer, and we have the two people who processed the SWIFT transfer of the commission. We have Titus Mavindu here from the GA, and we have Paul Lege from Madison. I think Paul, Chair, will give you an opportunity. And so the commission that came from GA was 10,149,811 and 0.5 cents. 10,149,811.05. The commission that came from Madison was 8,836,625 and 10 cents. This is because these two fund managers, they sustained the withholding tax, because withholding tax is always paid. So the total that was received was a combination of 8.836 million, and so a computation of the total would be 18 million, I think 900 and what? I have not counted. You can count the two. So do the computation, add the two figures, 8.836625.10 and 10,149,811.05. This is the money that came, and this is the money that was shared. The pension took 60%, and CAC Insurance Agency remained with 40%. All those people are here. We have Reverend Kaira from CAC Insurance. We have Titus, he is here, and we have Paul from Madison, he is here. That is the pension, that is the commission that was received. Now, from there is the administration cost for the quarter that was paid to pension, not from the members' funds, but from the commission itself. And so, we are using this commission. And so, your statement will not be surcharged administration charges, which are usually between 5,000 and 10,000. And so, we appreciate that 1,000, we take care of it so well that we shall use commission for the purposes of offsetting all the administrative costs until such a time that that fund is over. No member will be surcharged on the issue of administration. So what the chairman had given, it's the figures, because we couldn't write the whole figure, but now you have the whole figure as it was submitted, and the SWIFT transfers are there. So the total we have computed is 18,986,436.15 cents. That's the money that was received not by the pension, but the CAC Insurance Agency. And pension received 60% of that. Thank you, Chair.
Good, thank you so much. That's that's explanation. The other question had come from Reverend Jenga. Yes, Reverend Jenga first. Yeah, good, yes.
There is the second question that was asked about the increment of 50% of the administrative cost. Remember last year, in the minutes, we had indicated that we will hire an extra staff, which didn't happen because there is logistics to be made. And now we have a tier 2. A tier 2 that is to begin, or that was meant to begin on 15th of last month. And so for the tier 2, Chairman, I can explain as I answer that question. For the tier 2, we received a certificate for the tier 2. And so now the SRBS, or your pension fund, or our pension fund, is now rightly licensed to continue processing the tier 2. We have a certificate. What is remaining is the business committee, when it meets, it will give the authority to open a correction account. Because in this church and in this head office, we don't just open account, we open account via a minute of the business committee. And so when the business committee meets, they will give us the authority to open a correction account of tier 2. And so the accountants will be remitting to that correction account, just as we have a correction account for the pension. In this month, the Secretary General Office will communicate that all the accountants of all the presbyteries will meet in this place, so that we can be able to enlighten you on the process and the procedure that will be used on remission or remitting the tier 2 funds and all that accompanies the issues to do with tier 2. That brings around a need for an extra staff in the pension office so that they can be able, just as we reconcile the pension amount, then the extra staff will be part of the pension office and will help reconcile the tier 2 fund. It is required to be reconciled separately because the NSSF itself has been given a bit of regulatory mandate. So we have to maintain the pension account separate from the NSSF account separately. So those two accounts must run separately, and the administrator, Octagon, still have to manage it separately, but the fund managers will invest the same finance as they invest the normal pension. And so that brings the key need that will move our administrative cost by 50%. However, it's the 50% that we will still use the commission that is there to the very end before anything is charged on the members' account. On the issue of the members' training that we have talked about, this is the tradition, and we welcome the trajectory that we can be able to do online, or we can be able to do other forms of educating our members. It is true that together with our administrators, we can be able to do that. However, we still believe, or we are still a strong believer, that physical training is much more valuable than an online training. The interaction level and the question level and the way we are able to do our things are much, much better. It is like this AGM, all of us came here, other than gaining the value from the AGM, there are the externalities that came. However, that is a trajectory. If the members approve that we do not do the physical training in our region, that can be moved. And when it is moved and resolved by you, then who are we as trustees? We work on your behalf. And so the case is not on our side, the case is on the side of members, whether they will require the physical or we go online. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Reverend Karaoke. Just a quick addition. The matches make decisions here. The only difference between pension scheme and the other meetings that we attend and other groups, especially like SACCOs, is that, and I think Dixon Joro mentioned that and Titus did, that the pension scheme is very highly regulated. If the regulator RBA says that you come for physical meetings, even if we all pass here that we want to do online, we can't. We go by the regulator. So we are very highly regulated. Even when the number of meetings that trustees should hold in a year is regulated by RBA. It's a very highly regulated group. Then the trainings that one member asked for, our trainings we don't get from Mombasa. It is our trainers who go to Mombasa. It is easier to send one trainer or two to Mombasa than all the people in that region are trained from that. And then 2 people, 3 people, 4 people go to Meru and train the rest of us at in that region. So we are cost effective. We look at the 3 E's: efficiency, effectiveness, and then we are very, very economical. And the training that we do, instead of doing it annually because of the costs, we do them biannually. That's what I to mention as additional information. And there's also the questions. The number of members. You want to answer that?
Yes, there was a question that one of the members, Reverend Jenga, asked, and I want to refer the members to page number 29 on the accounts. Up there is a figure of exits. And so there is an actual number that we can be able to relate. 2024, we had 24 exits. We don't, due to data protection, we don't have people's name written. And so if it is an issue of numbers, refer to the number. It's there. Thank you.
Nowadays, with the data protection, you take someone's photo and you post it. He takes you to court and you are forced to pay him. That's why we had said some. You remember last year we had given the numbers and the names, but we are very confused. Reverend Neri Frosi Kahora, so kindly pass through Mary's office and you get the account details through. No. Sorry, this is through the Presbyterian. Not, sorry, I know Mary will lead you to the Presbyterian. So you hear it from Mary. People, pension, so much. When you go to the pension office, because you are here, she will send you to the Presbyterian. We are lucky that in our committee we have someone who has dedicated a whole research of pension. So we keep reading. The 2 of them are UK.
Maybe from it is the money, the salary or from the pay. What we always advise, and when we go to education, we are so privileged as in last year when Britam was here and mentioned that we are lucky as members of the PCA pension scheme because our PCA charge resolved that it will be contributing 15% and then you as an employee contribute 10. I would also like to pose a challenge to you. Who should be contributing more? Is it the employer or yourself? So if you get to your presbytery, you can maybe employer contributes. You will have added 5%. Or you can contribute more than your employer because the 15% that you're given by PCA is, I don't want to use free money, but actually it is free money. It is not earned. And so you can be able to improve yourself by yourself contributing more than your employer. And that way, so for the AVC, there is no pay bill. Even if you go to Mary's office, there is no pay bill. Let the money be channeled through your presbyteries. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's another question on whether we can advise where the fund manager would invest our money. There are two sets of schemes. There's a guaranteed scheme and a segregated scheme. Ours is guaranteed. So when we give our money to Titus at the GA, then we give the money to Paul Lege at Madison. It is him who knows how to do with our money. And he keeps on giving us periodical by 3 quarterly updates on where he has invested, and the rest of us, we keep monitoring, and he tells us where the funds are, and we monitor that in terms of percentages, because he has given us a guaranteed minimum return. G have given us 4%, Madison have given us 5%. Guaranteed minimum, that in the worst case scenario, mambo ikiharibika namna gani kwa soko, they'll give us a return of minimum 5%. So you can't tell them, remove our money from unit trusts and put it in Obi Stock Exchange. No, you give it to them. That's what RBA have regulated us that much. Ours is guaranteed. If it was segregated, we would keep our money in the church here. Then one morning we think we want to buy Safaricom. Then we buy all of it. We buy Safaricom. It goes up by a shilling. We move from Safaricom somewhere else. But in the research that is done and has worked and is proven, you are safer when your funds are guaranteed, especially pension, because pension is so key for the future. So ours is a guaranteed scheme, not segregated. So we give the money to the fund manager, and he manages that. There's a question that will come in the next set, and the last one is the questions from Reverend.
You will not be able to log in that system. That's how it has been said. And it's a control measure. So all I'm requesting members during this meeting and even after, just pass through the tent. Mercy, my colleague is there, and also I. Our desire is just to make sure that you are able to access your information from wherever you are. And I'm glad what Reverend said. You don't need to give us the information when we are here. We can even share a link with you. You update the information, and immediately we log in. And the issue to do with the date of birth, please use your ID. Date of birth means day, month, and the year. Very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Banajoro. Then again, also please note that in softwares, if you make a mistake, like you want to put your date of birth like 1969, if you put 1969, then you put 1968, then you delete and put 1969. Already it has noticed that you had made an error, and it has started suspecting that maybe it's not you, it's someone else who is trying to access your data. So it could block you in the next stage. That's how the software is set. Then there's also a time for pirating. So if you try to log in at the piloting stage, it may reject you, but gradually it has settled. So make sure that every data that you put in, you key it in and you key it correctly. That's what will help you to go to the final edge. But of course, feel free to get to us, get to Mary, get to Joro. We are open and we will guide you through that process. Thank you. We want to pick another set of questions. Please feel free to answer as many as possible. You can see, you even write down on a piece of paper. I'm receiving some comments here on a piece of paper. Please pass them on so that you will be able to answer them as we near the finishing. Thank you.
Chairman, I don't want to tire you with my many questions. I don't want to ask more. But it's unfortunate that we can, I don't say that you are lying, but it's a lie that you are well regulated even for the meetings. RBA cannot regulate your meetings. It is common sense that if you want to go to region and you want to go online, RBA has nothing to do with that regulation. So it is good to tell us that maybe you don't want to go to the regions and you don't want to go online, then bring the authority of RBA. That is bypassing. I have finished that. The question is, the Tier 2 is an act of parliament. It has aroused us as the contributors to make a decision on where we want our money to be invested. That is the rule of the land. That is the act of parliament. So when we are seated here as contributors of 6% of the Tier 2 of our NHIN SSF contribution, these are very key important that should make a decision on where, as a church, as a contributors, we want to put our money. Of course, you are given a license to be able to manage our money, but common sense tells us, before we put our money that is part of our contribution to a head office account that will be allowed by the business committee, and you want to employ another person to man my money, it tells us, if I put my money to Britam, maybe it have more safety and more interest than if I can do it with you. So this meeting should have come now to tell us what is the opportunities, what is better that if we do it in PCA than doing it with any other insurance company. But if you don't tell us, I go to the Presbyterian and I'll tell my Presbyterian that has put our money to Britam or CIC, and unfortunately the CIC and Britam will be very keen on my contribution. I am holding my statement here, and in April 2024 there was no contribution. So heaven knows where my money was. I have just realized I have no contribution for a whole month that I worked in the month of April. So if we bring the same laxity in Tier 2, in PCA, we start coming here with bahashas, old people retired looking for our money for April 2022 that was not forwarded to, I think it would be unfair. So I am challenging you, Chairman, and your trustee. You must tell us straight on our eyes what is the benefit of bringing money to you to manage that Tier 2. And finally, Chairman, as you manage that, if 20 presbyteries don't bring their money to be managed here, they are managed by other insurance companies, what will be the cost? Will you be part of the cost that is charged to learn that? It will only be charged to those who are contributing to that fund. And so the employment of an extra person, if that person is not managing my Tier 2, I don't need to pay for that person. It will be paid by those who are bringing money to the head office to be managed by that person. Let me be charged by the insurance company who are putting my money. So that story, I don't think, it is a very nice story written here, but it is not making sense to me. Thank you.
Chairman, it's good. Personal opinions are allowed everywhere, but we are Presbyterians and we are guided by the committees of this church, and as a board, we will follow what the committees of this church guides. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we do appreciate the contribution from the floor. But we as the trustees, we are regulated by the policies that were mentioned by our administrator. Number two, the issue of the regulator and how this money is invested, it is very clear. Very clear. The administrators are here. We have been with the Britam. We are with another one. Even the whole question of revolving the funds from one fund manager to another. Dear pensioners, we are regulated. It's good that we check what is written before we engage to the personal opinion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. On a light note, this other question. I was in a lunch meeting somewhere, then mchungaji wa kanisa la PCA akakuja penye tulikuwa tumekaa, tukasimama zote tumsalimie. So watu wakaniuliza mbona tunasimama? Kwa sababu nikaambia kwamba mafuta, sababu mafuta ya mchungaji si mafuta ya kuchipaka ama mafuta ya kukula ama ya kukamua, ni mafuta ya ordination. So ndio sababu mimi ni elder wa PCA, nikakubali mchungaji ajibu mchungaji mwenzake, kwa sababu hiyo mafuta si ya kukula ama ya kupika ama ya kujipaka, ni mafuta ambayo nimeheshimika sana. Thank you so much. Any other question, please? On a light note. Any other question? If there is no other question, I want to take this chance and now I need to be reminded if there's anything I've omitted. Any other business? Yes, there's appointment of auditors. And once again, I will invite Bona Babu to lead us through that. He's the chairman of that committee. Then we are nearing conclusion. I hope you'll be through in the next few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As a church, again, we have policies which we follow. Every often, we ought to keep on implementing those policies. And one of those policies is the auditors who audit our church, including our pension scheme. We are in that period where we have a letter from the church regarding the changes required in that front, and therefore coming here we have somebody called Server Management Solutions LLP, who will be the auditors of the entire end office and all the other institutions of the church, including our pension scheme. So that's the position. We have been guided accordingly. Thank you. We now need a proposal and a seconder to that effect, so that this proposal can go through for our purposes. So we need a proposal that
we should not ask for a proposal and a seconder. But the only thing that should be addressed,
we still have to observe rules of corporate governance. So though it is guided democracy, we are still required to make a proposal and an adoption. The only thing that has been done, eliminated from us, is the process of procuring that auditor. The process has been done centrally, but we need, as a matter of procedure, to adopt. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Reverend Mudia, I think you are guided by Elder Ndumo, our HT, so that we need to adopt. Much as the decision has been done, we need to adopt that even for our minutes, so that we are also compliant in terms of the requirements. Do I assume that you propose the adoption?
If we are here to sanitize the process, I don't know. But the second process is not said. How will we be renewing the mandate? Will we be waiting for the same external force to declare, and then we go about renewing the mandate? I think that process should be very clear for us.
This is usually a 3-year cycle. So coming here, you go through the normal process, but after 3 years, the end office ceases. And it's actually good practice. It's good practice to keep on changing auditors over time. So after 3 years, Pengide will have the same question. But now, we are asking for adoption of that proposal so that you will be able to adopt the auditor. Next year, it will be a normal process, I believe. We need a proposal and a seconder.
Reverend Jenga is time to propose.
Seconder, there's a hand here. There's a hand here. Okay.
I'm also a member of the pension, so I have a right to second, and I second I, Francis Maniki Dongo.
Good, thank you so much. We are nearing the end. We'll invite our SG to lead us, to give his comments and lead us in a word of prayer so that we conclude this meeting. But before that, we'll give our DSG a chance to make his final comments. That's when he'll invite the SG. But slightly before that, let me introduce Paul Rege. Paul, please come over so that we introduce him to you and give him a minute or two to say hi, to greet us, and he can tell us what he brings on board. Paul Rege is from Madison. He got tied in another meeting, and that's why he is here. Paul, karibu. Briefly.
Good afternoon, distinguished members. The Board of Trustees, my colleagues in the industry serving as service providers for this scheme, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Rege, and with me is my colleague Shadrach Mutisia. We are from Madison Life Assurance Kenya Limited, one of the very few insurance companies that are wholly owned Kenyan companies. And I would like to say that we are grateful for the trust that you have put in us through the Board of Trustees by our appointment as an incoming approved issuer. What we bring on board is an investment asset class that gives you the peace of mind through provision of a guaranteed return. But again, as I always say it, we are in this marketplace. It's a competition, and therefore our drive is not just the guaranteed return that we give. We strive every day to make the best decisions so that we get your money working for you. And by so doing, year on year, we will be declaring bonus returns. So on top of a guaranteed return of 5%, which is one of the highest in the industry, we're also looking forward to be sharing with you as our stakeholders bonus returns that will be dependent on the performance of the underlying assets of our guaranteed fund. What we commit to you is that we will be managing your funds in the strict compliance of the law, so that we're not just bringing in value, but we're also bringing in value that is attached to corporate governance, and to ensure that we are not only bringing in financial security in old age, but we're looking at you as partners. And therefore, in the course of our engagement with you, in the course of our provision of our service as an approved issuer, because we are a financial services group, we will also be exposing to you a couple of what we have under Madison Group. We have our investment arm, we have our general insurance company that will also be able to extend services to you in your capacity as an individual member, and hopefully even to the institution of the church as a whole. I think, Chairman, you asked me to be brief. I hope I have been brief. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Paul. We appreciate even for honoring this invitation. And without much ado, now we want to sincerely appreciate all of us and give this chance to our DSG.
Thank you, Chair, and the trustees, and all of us present. Buenas, if you are once again happy to come as we come to the end of this very good process, and our interactions and the questions that we are bringing forth, for sure they show that we are really concerned about our resources now and even in the days to come. A question that I would want to respond to briefly, in regard to those who, for example, their resources have not, or their contributions have not been limited, maybe for one reason or another. If there is such a challenge, then you need to write it to us so that you can be able to follow. But Chair, before I make my final comment, there's a comment that the HT needs to make in regard to that question about the monies not remitted and being returned. Therefore, one comment from HT.
Thank you, DSG. When listening to the conversations here, two things come to mind. There was a question regarding why a pay bill so that you can pay. And I want to tell you that one of the investments that you can make because of the tax implications is investing in an additional pension. The law allows that your contribution to the pension to the tune of 30,000 is free from tax. What does this mean? That when your taxation, when your payroll is deducted for purposes of pensions, that pensions now ceases being a property of the presbytery or your property to the regulators. We have had discussions, I have had some of you requesting that since payroll yangu haijafanywa miezi 6 ama miezi 12, kuna wengine hawajalipwa for 12 months, can you refund me? Can you refund me in cash? The statutory deductions, pensions included, cannot be returned back because the government started demanding for all their monies, including the pension, at the point of the payroll. So it cannot be refunded in cash. And it should not be refunded in cash. And we'll be doing that training to the accountants. Thank you.
That was important for us to note so that we are well advised. Few of my announcements kind of is part of what we are doing, and I want to assure you members, regardless of what we are saying, we are as a church doing very well. Number one, we are next Sunday finishing the process of the recruitment, licensing and ordination of 61 ministers. Our collaborative efforts as a church have helped us to achieve that. Last week we came from Uganda, where we are doing a church that we have tried to do for quite some time, and we expect that within the next 3 months we will have finished the Uganda church, because all the money is required for that church is in bank account. 2 weeks ago, we were in Arusha to buy a land in Arusha town that we also want to put up a church. And we have finished that process, now going to phase 2, or now to put up that church. We have finished a very important process of HR policies and guidelines review, and we expect that when the members of the business will be coming for the meeting next week on Wednesday, those copies will be available. So from the presbyteries, you can be able to send your member of the business to get a copy through the normal process that you know. And that's one of the other achievements that we have done. What is coming ahead of us now is the Health Week. We are on the second year still dealing with the challenges of alcoholism. We have already released the Health Week program, and that Health Week program has 2 schedules that we wanted to invite your support. One is on the training of trainers of trainers on Alcoholics Anonymous, because it's an area that we wanted to explore. And what we mean by this is we are making an appeal to our churches that we allow our sanctuaries and our offices and our spaces be centers for alcoholics to meet on their own and discuss their journey of coming out of the challenge that they are in. And that is all what the concept of Alcoholics Anonymous is all about. We have requested that every parish send one of their key leaders in health board, so that we can meet as we have guided in the schedule. The last one is the medical checkup for the ministers. From our office, the health of our ministers is a key concern. And we are asking all of us to be available to our centers as we have announced, the ministers. And what we are doing to the ministers is what we are encouraging the ministers when they sit in the presbyteries and in the session, to see that it is encouraged, that we are doing periodic medical checkups, so that we are having a healthy workforce. One of what you find in the review that we are releasing is a strong recommendation that in our workplaces we encourage and establish counseling programs. We are living in an environment where there are quite a number of challenges, and we are finding some of us are pushed by issues. And therefore, at a corporate level and even at an individual level, we are encouraging that our presbyteries and all our institutions, even as we do our budgeting, part of what we need to include is the counseling services. And we are, of course, aware 2026 will be a very, very big year for PCEA. One, as we mark the 100 years since we established Alliance High School, 100 years since we got the first ordination of African clergy, and many other celebrations that will be coming during that year. There are a lot of celebrations. Thika High School, where we serve strongly, will also be marking 70 years. And therefore, we are inviting ourselves to support each other, support the church, and support the institutions and the programs that are being released, so that we continue taking our church to the next level, and especially in relation to mission. You have seen what we have done, deploying a number of our personnel in the mission areas, and taking part of their payment to our payroll, so that once we deploy our ministers and our colleagues in the mission areas, then we do not allow them to suffer. And what we have begun by doing is just a little. We believe that very soon, from the head office, we should be able to do more in terms of empowering our personnel who we deploy to go and serve in some of the areas, some of which the church has classified as hardships. And particularly we have said the hardship allowance will be paid from the end of this, because we want to ensure that we will be able to do it. I must end by thanking you because of the support that you have continued to give to PCA end office. This week, we are paying, this week, by tomorrow, we are paying the August salary for the PCA end office and all who work for the end office. And this has come because of the support that you have continued to give us. And therefore, I can only end well by thanking all of you for the support that you have continued to give us. May the blessings of God be with you. May you have a safe journey. May you enjoy the remaining part of the financial year. And we know that as we come to the new financial year, 2025-2026, the presbyteries, our regions, our parishes are putting in place structures that will support a very great year, 2025-2026. May the Lord bless you. I want to invite the Secretary General for his closing remarks and the prayers. Secretary General, we can appreciate him as he comes to address us.
Thank you. I think the only reason why the Secretary General is always given the last chance is because they know he can run away anytime. And therefore, to hold him here, you must be the last. And I think it's a good tactic, because right now there are so many people who are still calling me in the office and asking me to go and attend to them. So, Chairman, I think that's a good tactic, and I appreciate. Thank you. My name is Waihenya, and I love the Lord as my personal Savior, and I'm happy to say that the Lord has been good, and he has continued to sustain and to give me strength, hope, and to keep my faith. So God is good. Much has been said, so I don't want to give a speech. And this was a day dedicated to know how we've been saving for our retirement. But as we were going on, I started reflecting on Genesis chapter number 41. I don't want to preach. And it is a verse we all know, and it clicked my mind that it reflects on what we were doing here today. And this is what we need to go and do. This is what we need to sustain, because Genesis chapter number 41 is about the dream of the reader of Egypt, where he saw, and the dream was interpreted by Joseph, that you'll have 7 years of bounty, and then you'll have 7 years of lack. So you need to prepare. And it occurred to me that this is a business we are undertaking here. And some few lessons I drew from this, as I was just seated here, was number one, we should know that days of bounty don't last forever. He was told it will only be 7 years. And we should also know that days of bounty are not meant to last forever. Use your days of bounty properly. Kindly do. Because you do not know why were they 7-7. It is for us to know that we need to be careful. Every penny will have an equivalent cost. So kindly, days of bounty don't last forever. Number two, during the days of bounty,
that is a time to dream. You cannot dream during the days of lack, during the days of shortage. And the dream came very clearly during the days of bounty. We Presbyterians, how big is your dream and how are you dreaming? It is your time of dreaming when you have a salary, when you have something, kindly have a bigger dream. And I challenge you, have a bigger dream beyond the normal contributions we are talking about. Extend, broaden, make your dream bigger during your days of plenty. Number 3 is that learn how to trust. You cannot be able to invest if you don't have a compartment called trusting in your heart. There are those people who don't trust at all. They are given opportunities and they say, let us see, let us wait and see. As others make decisions out of trust, we are still procrastinating. Can you learn how to trust? The insurance companies, they are this. You are being told about making voluntary contributions. Kindly, Presbyterians, can we learn how to trust? Your mistrust will cost you, and time is flying. So kindly learn how to trust. The other thing is, for us to be able to do what this particular Genesis chapter number 41 says, learn how to listen to good advices. Don't be that person who is always advising. Sit and be advised. You know, there are those people you cannot advise. They are always advising, even on things they do not know. At least they know everything. You know, the king, and he was the king, he sat down to be advised by a slave. And to be told, Your Majesty the King, this is a situation, and this is how you're supposed to handle this situation. Be advisable. Presbyterians, again, be advisable. The other thing is establish a structure within your own circles on how to save. And that was the first challenge that the king was told. Can you come up with a structure where we are going to correct all the seeds, all the harvests, and keep them? Establish a structure. If you still do not have a structure on how you will spend your years beyond 65, it is a disaster. Have a structure. And a structure developed during the days of bounty. Develop your structure and stick to it. Finally, trust not a foreigner. Don't trust a foreigner. You see, although many of you might not love this, Pharaoh, or the king, made a mistake because he gave the stores to a foreigner called Joseph. That was a disaster because although you love Joseph so much, but Joseph misused that opportunity. What he did, God had provided enough information that this food will be enough for the Egyptians, not for other people. But when the brothers of Joseph came, they were being given free food, but for the Egyptians, they were forced to pay. And the Bible records, they ran out of money. And when they ran out of money, Joseph told them, no, you give me your lands in exchange of your food, because I've been told this by the king. And by the end of 7 years, because a foreigner was managing their kitty,
Egyptians didn't have the land and they didn't have money. And the land was now in the hands of Joseph's brothers. That is how corruption started with Joseph. Make sure you don't trust your money to foreigners. You better trust PCA other than trust other people. You will cry alone. Trust your money with the people who can be able to deliver. So that is my advice. I am also there. Don't ask me whether I have structures, but I sell eggs. Yes, have your structures. If you want to sell eggs, don't start selling eggs when you retire. Start now. Don't mind about people who are jealous. Put your structures now. Amen. Reverend Kanga, I want to bestow this opportunity to you. Where are you? So that you can come and pray for the food. I'm donating 1 minute, my 1 minute to you, which is almost over. But I know when I give Reverend Kanga, you pray for the food, and you also conclude, I give you this honor. And I know you must talk about the circle. Definitely, I know. So do those 3 things, and then conclude for us with the word of prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Waihenya, our Secretary General. I'm happy to be given this opportunity to say hi to you. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. My name is Kanga. I love the Lord as my personal Savior. I'm glad that we are here for the purpose that we came for. Just to tell you that SACCO is doing well, is kicking well, doing wonderful things. If you go to www.pcasaccoltd.co.ke, down there you find the portal. Once you click the portal, it will ask you for the password. You put your ID, then you go on, apply loan, see the guarantors, see the collateral, everything is there. So you are almost completing the process of going paperwork. The other thing is that we have enough money to give you and your neighbor. If you are not able to pay, we will not come for your neck. We shall first pray for you. Finally, you are receiving a lot of messages to remind you that you have not paid your loan. It is the SACCO bylaws we are following. Tutire na uru. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Come for money. Thank you. Haya, tusimame basi tuombe. Tuombe. Mungu Baba, Mungu Mwana, Mungu Roho Mtakatifu, twasema ni asante ya dhuhuri ya leo kwa sababu ya baraka zako ambazo umetukirimia tangia tulipoamka asubuhi na mapema kiguu na jia tukajipata hapa kwa mkutano huu. Twasema ni asante Baba kwa sababu umekuwa pamoja nasi. Twasema ni asante kwa sababu ya mambo mengi ambayo tumeweza kushuhudia kikao hiki. Tukisema ni asante Baba kwa sababu ya kuona ya kwamba kila kitu kinaenda sambamba. Twashukuru, twasema ni asante. Iwapo tumekutendea visivyo katika mkutano huu na mawazo, twaomba Roho wako Mtakatifu atusamehe na atuongoze. Na tukiondoka hapa Baba kiguu na jia tutaelekea makwetu. Twaomba neema ya usafiri ambatane pamoja nasi hadi makwetu, na tukifika makwetu salama salimini. Sifa na utukufu ni kwako Baba. Baada ya hapa tutaenda katika uga wa mankuli kupokea chakula cha mchana. Twaomba kwamba ukibariki kiwe cha manufaa katika miili yetu, na wale hawana twaomba kwamba wakumbuke. Ombi la imani katika jina la Baba na la Mwana na la Roho Mtakatifu. Amen. Enendeni kwa baraka. Furahini kila wakati, nasema tena furahini. Na hebu karimu wenu julikana na kila mmoja kwa sababu Yesu yu karibu kuja. msijisumbue kwa jambo lolote, lakini katika kila hali kutoa shukrani za dhati kwake Mwenyezi Mungu, na baraka zake Mwenyezi Mungu zinazopita fahamu ya binadamu zikahifadhi nyoyo zenu, ili mkae mkimjua na kumpenda, na mapenzi yake Mwenyezi Mungu Baba, Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu yawe nanyi na ikae nanyi sasa na hata milele. Amen. Thank you so much.